Hello and welcome to Legislative Report. I'm State Representative Marty Causer of the 67th District in Cameron, McKean, and Potter counties. As the majority chairman of the Game and Fisheries Committee, I extended an invitation to committee members to come to Potter County. We toured the State Fish Hatchery in Oswayo, which produces several varieties of trout. Built in 1968, the hatchery produces over 245,000 adult trout each year. Let's view some of the highlights of our visit as we learned about the process of producing and stocking trout.
Welcome to the Oswayo State Fish Hatchery. My name is Rick Marler. I'm the hatchery manager here at the facility. And today we're going to take you on a little tour of our facility to show you what we do here and how we get our fish from eggs out to the streams for the anglers to enjoy. This is our hatch house here. Everything that we do starts in here. Once we have eggs on the incubator and we start hatching them, or they start hatching inside the incubator, we check on them. We bring them out here and we hatch them into these trays. These trays we can dump the entire incubator tray of eggs into, and the dead eggs and the egg shells will stay on top, and the small fry that have their sac still attached to them will fall down through into a tank where we can clean them up so we don't have a lot of waste and dirt and things like that in with them. Once we do that, we enumerate them, we take and measure, and we can get a milliliter count on how many there are by displacement, and then we know how many fry that we're starting out with. What you guys can see to the side here, this basin, this is where all of our water enters. We have 3 freshwater sources that we utilize for hatchery production here. We have 2 springs that come off of the hill here, and we have 1 well that was recently added about 2 years ago. As we bring our fish outside, we always start at the head ends of our raceway series. The smaller fish are always going to be in the freshest water that we have and not below the larger fish that are already been exposed to different pathogens and things like that. So we always bring our small fish from outside into the heads of our raceways first, and then we work our way down through the system as we go. These are usually a highlight point for people on the tour. Everybody likes to see the palominos. These ones, we keep ours for 2 years so that they're stocked at a trophy size. So these ones will be going out in 2015 as adult trout.
How many eggs do you get out of one female fish?
One female, for our 3-year-old females, it's 4,000 to 4,500.
Oh my word. Yeah. And the success rate is almost 100% on fertilization and birth?
It's usually closer to 70 from when we spawn them to the end.
So you're going to get, if she puts out 4,000 eggs, you're going to get darn near 3,000 fish. Right.
This here is what we call a quiescent zone. As the water flows through, this area is a dead zone that gives any of your fish waste and solids a little bit of time to settle. These areas are actually cleaned 3 times weekly, and we have a clarifier down below here. We'll get down to that and I'll explain it to you. But that clarifier is where that waste goes, and it's collected and settled, and we can then get rid of it later according to our NPDES permit through DEP. Next thing I'd like to show you guys is we have our elevators up here. These are fish elevators. Very similar to like a grain elevator. We utilize that to take a little bit of the stress from loading these trout onto the trucks off of the guys and put it into a machine here. What we do when we typically are getting ready to load a truck each morning is we have these crowding racks. We set these racks in and we can get as many fish as we think we need for that particular load of fish, which is all done by weight. We push those fish down and crowd them so we can get a net on them. We weigh them, set them into the elevator, and the elevator lifts them and drops them into our tanks for us. What you see here, this is what we call our clarifier. Inside of here, each one of those quiescent zones that we pointed out has that standpipe, and when we drain them, they come into this settling basin. Each morning that we do that, each morning that we clean those, we do it 3 times a week. We can pump this down, we drain the top water out of it, the clean top water out of it, so that it's got more room inside for collecting the waste. And then we clean those quiescent zones, and all of that solids and waste collects in here and has time to settle so that it's not being discharged out into the stream. This is what we call a polishing pond here. All of our overtopping water, before it ever goes out to the stream, is run through this to allow it to settle. You can see the baffle there, which slows the flow down, which gives the solids more time to settle out. And also at the end, you can see that it's skimming just the top layer off. and it's going down into a basin. So as the water flows through, this can handle about 2,400 gallons per minute of flow, and it allows the solids to settle out so that we're helping to clean up our water before we discharge it out into the streams. As our water collects here, there's a pipeline that's an 18-inch line that runs out, and then it flows out into the stream from there. It's its own separate tributary channel all the way down to about 400 yards down into the actual town of Oswayo, where it meets up with Oswayo Creek. Also down there, we have a 24-hour automatic water sampler. DEP requires us to test our water twice every month, and that sampler allows us to set the program, and it'll collect one sample each hour of a specific amount, so we'll have a composite sample to see what happens in a 24-hour period. Twice monthly we collect that water sample and we send it down to our water quality lab in Benner Spring. They do some of the testing themselves, and some is also sent to an outside laboratory that does some of the other testing for us. And we do that, like I say, twice each month we have to collect water samples and ship them away. This here is our recirculation lagoon, a portion of our overtopping water that's already been utilized by the fish that doesn't go to the polishing pond will come back over into this pond, and we have 2 pumps set up inside this little pump house. Those pumps allow us to pump up to 1,200 gallons per minute of the water that we've used back up to the head of the hatchery and use it a second time. All of the water before it leaves eventually is going to be treated by the polishing pond in the center here, but a portion comes to this, goes back to the top, and then comes back down around and is utilized a second time. Also, this gets cleaned typically once a year. The limitations to this are that we can't be in there cleaning it when we need it, so we have to wait and time it so that when we're not recirculating, we can hurry up, get in, clean it, and then have it ready to be utilized again. As you can see here, we have 2 sets of raceways that are not being utilized. Several years ago, our production number was decreased just due to the same stuff we were talking about, our effluent issues and trying to keep the stream cleaner. Basically, we had to change and set up an approximate number of fish that we can raise and still be putting out quality water.
You've been watching highlights from my tour of the State Fish Hatchery in Oswayo. The hatchery does have a visitor center, so please stop by if you're in the area. If you need assistance regarding a state matter, feel free to contact me at my local office or through my website. The information will be shown in a moment. Thank you for watching Legislative Report.